Share a workflow to change the background of the product. The key is to keep the product details unchanged. The previous question was, can you change the background? Letting etc. But the details will change. So what is this workflow? Just solve this detail unchanged. It is divided into 5 parts. You can open all at once and run. You can also run the first step one by one. Once you are satisfied, run the second step. However, you don't need to open it directly. One step to the end. I will explain this workflow in detail later. Instructions. Specific operation. I am using the end-to-end cloud image. People don't want to deploy and install locally and use just click on my mirror. If you can see the platform updated to the latest version. This workflow is built in. The effect you use is what I have now. Exactly the same. Don't worry about the problem that I can use it, but others can't. It means that now you see that I can use. Everyone uses the same image as me. Can be used. It prevented me from sharing. But everyone downloads or deploys and installs such a complicated workflow. Not missing error, can't run. That doesn't make any sense, so this mirror solves this problem. As long as I can use it, everyone is exactly the same as me because they are using the same image. This is one of the advantages of using this mirror. If you want to deploy and install locally, you can open My Notes, click on ComfyUI tutorial. This FLUX product changes the background. The details remain the same. This workflow opens. There is a node installation here. Tutorials and some references for using tutorials. There are also workflow downloads. This is suitable for people who deploy locally. This deployment is more complicated, so I suggest you show Brain Cloud directly. First of all, the whole workflow can be perfectly the same as mine. This will run without error. This is the first. The second is to use directly. Just learn while using it. Okay, now let me introduce this workflow. I open all workflows directly. Run all in one step. From a product thrown into the automatic cutout to the funnel. Relining and adding details. HT restoration. 1 step. The final output is this. It's like I just throw in a picture. Then fill in the background I need. You can directly output with one click. The last step. A perfect product. Change the background and keep this detail unchanged. This is the key point because currently changing the background will lose details. So this is very important. This is one of the benefits of using the FLUX model to generate awesome backgrounds. I will now introduce it in detail. The first step is to cut the background. There's nothing good to introduce about this. Just use this node. He uses the API, so remember to keep the network open. Subtract the background first. Then you can set the size of the image you want. For example, the poster I want is of this size. Remember to set the size here, because the size will be used in the following. Then this is to control the size of the product in the picture. These two are a movement of up, down, left, and right positions. For example, I zoomed out. When running, remember that if you are just adjusting this, you don't need to run. Show underneath. Steps 2, 3, 4, and 5 close all. This way he won't run to the bottom. Just look at this effect. This is a great goal on the internet. Share. Didn't create I'm not that great. I just share it for everyone to use. This solves it. Or controls zoom in and out. This is a control for up, down, left, and right. For example, I might want to put text on it. Then I need to lower my height a little bit. This one is centered. Center a line. Then the position is adjusted. The screen size has been adjusted. All the defaults are fine. Then the next step is the second step. I am teaching you now, so it's step by step. In fact, normal uses to open all. Then throw in a picture, set the size, set up the background. Just run all. Then proceed to the second step. Generate background. I simply chose a yellow background. Then it will generate a yellow background. The key point here is this. Control net. Use this V3 candy line drawing to control control net. The advantage of this is that it accurately controls the edge. This completes the next step. Remove it, then paste your own product into it. I will give him a different background. A product poster. There is a bottle of cosmetics on a pink bottle. This is best. Detailed instruction because it has a problem. This projection cannot be changed after it is generated, so the projection. It is best to describe the projection of your product is similar. I change the background to metal, stainless steel. No need for metal. Dark blue. Background. For example, change it a little like this. Of course, it can be richer. You can use your own imagination for details. Then click on it to generate the second step. Note that the seeds are fixed. This way it won't jump up or down when running. He won't run this repeatedly. Workflow. If you generate it for the first time, he will load the model slowly. The second time, he was very fast. Because this cloud computer model is more suitable. Running this large software. Because of this model, everything is very big. All the nodes, huge variety of models. There should be dozens of teeth, all images. All built-in workflows here can run perfectly. But if you drag it in manually, it won't work because I only deployed hundreds of practical workflows built in here. Basically covers all the mainstream latest features of the workflow. This workflow, the most important thing is to use this line drawing, can accurately control the deep background. This way I avoid some things I don't need. This affects the replacement of my subsequent product. This is a key point. The previous one didn't work. The previous model was too bad. Can't control such a perfect edge. The effect of replacing the edge is very poor. So the point here is to use this high-quality version of the V3 ControlNet Canny model. Of course, this generation is not satisfactory. Switch the seed, or randomly generate until you are satisfied. Then fix it. There's nothing much to say about this cutout. This controls the expansion of the cutout by 1 pixel. This will completely block the product. You generated it. I just want the background. I don't need this product, so no cutout. Go and pick it off. Finally, I do one product in. That is the picture above. Here are some wireless connections used. If you want to modify it, you can check this. This will avoid the line being too messy. This way. In this way, he accurately generated this background. Don't worry about this product. Just roughly see if the projection is suitable for my product. In fact, I mainly want to deduct it, so using this requires a very powerful line drawing control. If you don't press it, you can't deduct his product. You can't use the background he generated. So this is achieved. Take away his product. Replace the background. Step 3. Just relight it. Now the effect is very poor, but you can ignore him. Step 3. Run. Because I locked it up, so he won't run the above step. The third step is to relay the normal process. Use this, I say, that I have already deployed these models. You can just run it directly. If you are not satisfied, change the whole thing to run randomly. This light effect is satisfactory. Here is the prompt word. Just repeat the above one. So you don't need to fill it out yourself. He will shine the light above on this according to your instructions above. This is how the lighting effect is achieved. This basically doesn't move because this is an effect that controls image overlay. If you change, he will be ghosted, so don't move this. Default. You don't need to change this image style. This image style, these three are control. Saturation, brightness, a control of contrast. Well, it depends on the situation. For example, in the previous step, you directly pass the product tag. Its effect is very poor because it doesn't match the lighting on the screen at all. The lighting of the screen should be blue, so this step is the effect of lower lighting. This is rough. Don't worry. It's just done. As one of the following. An effective superposition of effects. Then follow the fourth step to redraw. Redraw is just a matter of choosing a quick model. This fast, the model generates a more perfect one in details. Because I have the lighting. Traditional lighting, this will cause the text details to be completely different from the original image. So the following step is needed. Let it redraw. Redraw, the details will be more perfect. For example, after lighting, he pasted it in this background picture. He actually has two pictures, so he didn't fit perfectly into the picture. So through this redraw, generate both of their pictures completely on one picture. He achieved this effect. In this way, the product can be more perfectly integrated into the background. Don't worry about this detail. I'll solve this problem for him later. This step handles. The purpose is to blend the image with the background again. Because of the lighting above, it is actually a picture. Here is not a picture, so he can't blend into the background like this. So the following step is needed. Of course, this fusion background you can choose the first or second one here. Do you think? It is better to use the above one. It is better to use this too. This is up to you to choose. Normally, this is the picture that is lit. So I can show you here. Let's take a look. For example, I changed it to the picture above. Just skip this step. Just use the one above. Image. You can use it according to the situation. This is just a selector. Image redrawing of a selection of two images. First, choose the first one. Second, choose the second one. For example, if I choose the first station, perfectly preserved, but he didn't have the lighting effect, so the fusion effect is obviously very poor. So here we choose the second station to integrate. He'll be perfect. After all, the background lighting is the same after relighting. The purpose of this step is to merge the two above and the lighted ones and redraw them. You can choose the following or the above. Of course, it would be better to choose the following. Relight. The last step is to redraw the above. After the repaint, are his details bad? Basically, it's the same lighting as before. The details are completely different. This won't work. So the last step is to restore this detail. Let's run it, and we can also choose two. The first one is with light and without light. To integrate, of course, we still choose this. The second one is light. To combine with the above redrawing. For example, this picture is just a real one. Set it up. A setting for superposition. This selection highlights an effect of bright lighting. Then superimpose this image. This picture here is a superposition of details. Just make his details more perfect. Then these two images are merged, and the details are perfectly restored to the details of the first image. This achieves a perfect background changing effect. After the superposition, his details are also restored. So the next step is to restore the above details. Mix in the normal details. A function that adds light without changing details has been realized. Of course, this workflow can only be solved in this way. But the details are still, it is flawed. For example, this. He can't solve the projection. So everyone should pay attention to this when generating the background, when generating the picture. Blur this out, or you can edit this projection yourself later. But the biggest advantage of this workflow is that it solves restore this detail. Of course, it is a multi-layer superposition method. The degree of overlap of this workflow is 0.8. If you want him to mix these two, that is, the two ridge rows above and the illuminated ones above are superimposed. Or ridge row and add the above. To superposition, you can choose one or. For example, I choose the default value of the superposition strength is 0.8. Stack together. You can see the effect. It's also okay, so this is your choice. The first or second one to overlay, then superimpose the strength. It's also because I stack the strength here. The stacking strength is not the higher the better. The higher the light effect, the better. So weird. For example, if you stack it, it will completely lean towards this one. Leaning towards this one. So it depends on the situation. Generally, 0.8 is the best. 0.5 is the middle position. I can set it up here. Let's take a look at the effect. I will lean towards this point. It also has a very weird effect. So 0.8 will be slightly better. Because it is mixed, so you don't need to just look at its effect. You can make this very strong. For example, adjust it to 1 or 2. Then you can control it through the mixing intensity. This way, the background is changed. The light was turned on again. A workflow with the same details is saved. Okay, let's go play.